Hi everyone, it's Diane. I am back this week with another card in my Stamping A to Z project. And this week we were up to Bonanza Buddies. So for anyone who's new, welcome. And what I'm working on is trying to use all of the stamps that I have. Well, that's going to be kind of tough to do when they're not in there, right? They're there. Trying to use all of my stamp sets. You know, as a previous Stampin' Up demonstrator, I ended up with a lot of stamp sets, and some I've only used once, some have never been used, and so my goal is to get through all my stamp sets, use them up, at least, not use them up, but at least use them once, and experiment. And I've found several that I really have loved. And I'm anxious to get back to them, but I have so many more to get through. I don't know if I will. Anyways, Bonanza Buddies came with a coordinating die set, Bonanza Dies, and the monster's here, and I keep shooing her away, so I may have to leave to oh good. She already hit the camera once, so. What was I saying? The dies. They came with the Bonanza dies that cut out all the little animals. These also came at that time, and I think this was around 2019 or 2020. Not sure. No. Birthday Bonanza Designer Series paper. And we are using some of the paper out of here today. And I also kept a little strip of this out because this is a great key on how to color in the animals. You know, what colors of ink to use, or alcohol markers or whatever. And so I thought I'm just going to stick this in here because this is going to be helpful to me when I go to do this again. And I've used this a couple times, but not the animals. I had not used the animals. We're also going to make this into a fun fold card. I've never done a step card before. A step card is a card that has a panel and then stands upright so that you can attach, and we'll attach our little animals. And there goes my ink cube. Hey, that's ink. Get out of there. It looks harder than it is. It's actually very easy to cut. And once I got it through my head, I'm going to have to grab that ink. Be right back. Yeah, you're done. You already have 2 ponytail holders, a sock, a piece of ribbon. Now, how many toys does one little kitty cat need? There. That and them. Those are for you. Okay? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I really just didn't want basic gray ink all over my carpet. Yeah, so I had to get it through my head when we go to cut this out. The way that we're going to cut and score our cardstock is not the way the card will fold and stand up. Because the whole time I was doing it, I kept saying, and my first try, I did score it wrong. That's why I have all these little X's. And then I had to decide which ones were going to have the Designer Series paper on them. But while I was scoring, I just kept saying to myself, there is no way this piece is big enough for the front of the card, and I didn't get how it was going to go together. So when we start to cut and score the cardstock, trust me, it's going to work. And I will put all the measurements in the description box. So I'm glad you came back with me again. In the spirit of time, I did stamp my little characters off of Bonanza Buddies. I did not put them, well, really the lion's the only one that needs put together, and I didn't put him together because I learned something. I must not have ever used the lion before. And these are going to be their little party hats and the pom-poms, if I didn't lose any. Oh, I'm not seeing a pom-pom. Oh, there it is. So we have our koala, the toucan, and the lion. So when I first cut my lion out, and I stamped him just on white cardstock, and I used Bumblebee ink. And then for his mane and his tail tip right here, I used the Bumblebee, but I stamped it on crushed curry. So when I first cut it out, I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to restamp the face to get the face onto his mane. Then when I went to take it off of my my Big Shot, the head was separate from the body, and so our head is going to fit right inside the mane that will go on top of the body, which makes perfect sense. But I wanted to show that to you in case you have never done these animals before. The koala is stamped just on basic white in Smoky Slate. I did use this in my Stamparatus so that I could stamp him a couple of times to get a nice deep gray. My toucan I stamped with VersaFine Clair Nocyurn ink, and then I just used some of my Stampin' Right markers to color in his pretty colorful beak there. And I already told you the Bumblebee on white. And this was a scrap, I think it's crushed curry. It actually was just a scrap of yellow that was on my desk, and I said, oh, that'll work. Okay, so we have those. The hats I did in Grapefruit Grove and Costal Cabana. I know Grapefruit Grove is an older color. It just, they were colors that matched in some of the designer series paper. So we're going to start with, oh, and I did take a piece of, this is Daffodil Delight. I did take a scrap of Daffodil Delight, and I stamped Happy Birthday and Let's Celebrate You in the Nocyurn ink. I will probably die cut this to put in the center of our front panel, which will be over here, but I don't know what shape I want yet, and I thought Let's Celebrate You might work down along the bottom. And I also have another little idea over here. So we're going to start, let me get all my measurements out. Hopefully I don't tell you something incorrectly as we're going along. Get my inks out of the way, and I will set them over here so I can remember to list them all when I type this up. I just thought it might be quicker if I got all the little animals stamped and die cut. This is a cute card, but this isn't one that you're going to run up into your craft room and say, oh, I need a birthday card like for this afternoon in about 20 minutes. It's not going to happen. So rather than get frustrated, do this on a day where you have the time and you feel like sitting down at your craft table and playing for a little while, because you'll enjoy it much more. All right, I'm starting with the Daffodil Delight. That is 5.5 by 8.5, which is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock cut in half. That's what we always do. Well, pretty much. And then, there it is. I was going to say, where is my trimmer? That wouldn't have been very good. We're going to need that. All right, you little guys are going to have to go over here. Oh, I meant to grab some acrylic strips. I don't know if we'll use them. That would make it kind of like a bouncy, make the critters bounce up on our steps. I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. I'm sure it's right behind me. I can grab some. Oh, it's stuck under my nail. I don't want to lose all the little pieces. And we know as soon as I set down my trimmer, that's what will happen. All right. Now, with the 5.5 inch piece edge along the top of your trimmer, we're going to line the left side up at the 2.5 inch mark. Okay? And then we are going to cut using the measurements on the plastic guide over here. Can you see the little numbers? They're hard to see. we are going to start at 2 1/8, and I'm going to have to turn this sideways. Under this light, I can't see. And now that Ella gave me one more little cube of ink to deal with. Okay, 2 1/2 along the edge. I'm going to line my cutting blade at 2 1/8. And I can close my guide and cut this to 7 5/8, which is barely on the camera. I'm sorry. 2 1/8 to 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Lift the guide and leave your paper there. Okay. We still have that 5 1/2 inch side along the top of our trimmer. Turn it counterclockwise. Now you have the 8 1/2 inch length along the top of your trimmer. Now we're going to slide this over to, and I understand my notes, 2 1/8. 2 1/8 right there. And get the cutting blade out of the way because now we're going to only score. So I have my scoring blade and my first one. Now let me get my sample because this is where I was messing up on my first one. The first one, which is lined up at 2 1/8, we are going to score down to the cut line and stop. And so that happens to be 3 inches. So if you can see the 3 on the side of your guide over here, that's where you're going to stop scoring. Slide the cardstock over. You don't have to pick it up, just slide it over. There's my next measurement here. To 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and scoring blade only. This one we're going to score across the entire card. That's the only one. So we have 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Lift your guide, slide over to 5 1/2. Scoring blade only to the cut line. So again, only down to the 3 inch mark and stop. Lift the guide and slide your cardstock over. And mine, I'll have to extend my arm. Oh my, I should have done that first, sorry. Now we're sliding over to 6 3/4. 6 3/4. Still with the long side against the top of our trimmer. Use the scoring blade and score down to the cut line. Yes, I was thinking this should line up, but no, it should not. Okay, to the 3 inch mark or the cut line and score. That's it. Hard to believe, but you have now made your step card base. Even though it doesn't look like it. So now we can turn our cardstock back around so that that 5 1/2 inch length is facing the top. The little panel on the left is going to make a mountain fold and fold up. And that's at that 4 1/2 inch line. Our first fold is going to go up, making a mountain. The second one at the 4 1/2 mark is going to fold a valley fold, mountain. I did do something wrong here. I thought I did. Oh, poo. Okay, so there's another one. Ah, I had this so figured out in my head. Did I write something wrong? I might have. Who can tell with all my scribble notes? Good Lord, I got them everywhere. See, I did that right, that right, that right, that right. Oh no, I'm just missing one. I'm just missing a score line. I didn't mess it up. I just forgot to do one. Oh, I did forget to do one. I wondered why I wasn't going to reach the edge of the cut line. The last one that we needed to score at was at 7 5/8, clear over there. 4/8, 5/8. That looks better. Get my scoring blade down to the 3-inch mark. That's much better. Or as the kids used to say, much more better. So those score marks were at, out of the way. Our first one was at 2 1/8, right? Yes. 2 1/8, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, 6 3/4, and 7 5/8. And now I can continue folding. Okay, so we're a mountain on that side, a mountain back here, a valley, mountain, valley, mountain. So we've just accordion folded the right hand side. And look at that. It worked. We do need to burnish the edges because this is going to want to keep popping open. It'll fit into your envelope. And then I'm going to try to burnish the inside folds there a little bit too, to keep this down flatter. Did it! Thank goodness. So last night when I was doing my trial one, my prototype one, I was down at the kitchen table and I was measuring everything, and my husband came home from work and the dogs were barking and I'd forgotten to take the ink down and I forgot my glue, so I was using some Elmer School glue that was down there, and I got to put these, went to go put these little designer series papers on the step sides, and I didn't have them measured right, so I packaged everything up and brought it back to my craft room and said, we'll just work on that tomorrow. Sorry, just taking a swig, hoping not to start coughing again. Alrighty. Oh, okay. Now, I need this so that I can have all my measurements for the little papers. Now, for this left panel, if you're using a directional pattern, like to me, this has a direction only because of the little bows. Just keep in mind that this is your short side, your long side is going to go up and down, okay? So we need a piece of designer series paper over here, and that looks a little bit narrow, but is it? No, it's right. This is 2 1/8 by 4 1/8 long. And then I found some pretty coordinating paper that was in that packet. And we will need, this one's measured wrong. See, this is not in right. I could tell, that's why, did you hear that pause there? That was because I knew there's too much room on either side of this. That's why I kept looking at it. And so I obviously can't read a ruler yet. We're going to do it again. And it's going to work this time perfect. You watch. It will be perfect. And if it's not, I'm going to just stop the camera and I won't do this one. Oh, all right. Let's make sure I have my stuff written right. this will be at 2.5. Isn't that what I said? What did I cut it at? I was at 2.5. I'm really cracking up. 2.5. Maybe it is right. No, it's not. It isn't. Because I wonder if it's because I was using my little ruler downstairs and I just measured with that. 2.5. So 2 3/4. I wrote them all wrong. All right, we'll measure it as we go along. The card is cut correctly. It's the designer series paper that I have not measured correctly again. I'm sorry. I'm a dingbat. Sometimes that happens. We just can't read a ruler. All right, so if this is 2.5, that means, no, this is 2.5. I need it to be 2 3/8. And I have written 2 1/8. 2 3/8. No point on that. 2 3/8. Oh. Two and 1 2 3/8. And I'm just saying that because as soon as I put that guide down, I'll probably forget what I said. By 4 1/8. 4 1/8. Yes, thank you. And I'm correcting any mistakes I have on my paper so that I will be careful to type them up correctly. Where'd that little ruler go? You fell down. And this was 2, no, it's 3. So I need 2 7/8. What was I doing? So these should all be 2 7/8. 2 7 by 2. That's right. So oh, this is what happens when you try. See, it's a good thing I have all those little animals done and out of the way. I tried to have everything ready to go for you today and do half of it all over again. All right, now that's better. Okay, let's put these out of the way. Rid of those little strips that I had to trim off. And we will just write this again so that I pay attention when I'm typing. 2 7/8 by 1 1/8 and 2 7/8 by 3/4. At my age, you would think I know how to read a ruler. Yeah. Tape. Look at that. I thought the hardest part was going to be measuring the card out for you, and it wasn't. It's, well, I like only 1/8 of an inch border on my card pieces, so I guess I cause most of my own trouble by doing that, right? Because then I just have to measure everything. more that way. I'm going to try to line these up so that my designer series paper leaves the same border on each of the pieces. If you're confused on which panel needs to have the paper, just fold it again. It's this one. This one's not directional, so sort of hard to get them the same when the folds want to keep popping up. All right, and then just this little tiny 3/4 of an inch strip along the bottom. Oh, and I want to make sure this one lines up with the bottom panel as well. Oh, my hands are going to be in the way everywhere. Yay! Let's put our little animals together, and then we can get our greeting in there. So Mr. Toucan doesn't need anything more than his hat. Oh, I finally got some Tombow glue because my bottles are about empty. Let's put our pom-poms on our hats and glue that little lion. Everybody gets a party hat. So I had to run to the chiropractor this morning, and a couple of weeks ago, I was washing the liner out of my crock pot. I don't know, does anybody else still ever use a crock pot? I love my crock pot. And it sounded a little weird. So I was looking and I was like, oh my goodness, there's cracks in here. My crock pot had cracks. I'm going to put the tip of his tail on. So hubby said, you know, just we'll throw it away and we'll look for a replacement crock for it. We'll put his head in the middle of his mane. So I stopped at Walmart today. I needed to get some more ink for my printer. And just out of curiosity, I went over to look. Crock pots were 19 bucks. Now, how much do you think I'm going to have to pay for a replacement crock? So I got a new crock pot. For $19? Come on. I haven't had it for a few weeks. I did do a roast in the oven the one weekend, and it's just not the same. You know, the crock pot keeps it so tender. Oh, you stay there, little head. I wanted to move you. There we go. Okay, now we have our animals. Let's give them a hat. Who wants which color, guys? You should get green. Maybe. What looks better with your little beaky boo? Well, I don't want yellow on him. Like that. Okay. So we're going to put his on a little bit sideways because he's a party animal. And we'll put Mr. Koala. He gets one too. Aww, there's my trimmer. And Mr. Toucan Sam. Yay. Okay. So now we have to decide how do we want to put these guys on to the card. they're going to be standing up in here. And oh, I guess I should show you my other little idea. So this is more than likely going to be a children's birthday card, right? So if I was going to give this birthday card to a little one, I might want to give him some cashola. And in the die set, there is this great tag. And I had a hard time finding my die set because I use this tag die all the time. And so I took another piece of that designer series paper and I just cut a little strip of it off. See, I am losing my voice again. Long enough to wrap around. And I thought this would be fun to just tuck in my you know, $10 or $20 or whatever. And then we could just set that in there when I go to put it in the envelope. That would be fine, right? Right. So let's glue this little strip around here. I used just a circle punch to cut a little bit of a notch out of there so that we'll be able to see that there's some cash tucked down in there. And I'm just going to go along the outside edges and across the bottom, leaving the top open. Oh, come back here, silicone mat. And I'll line this up along the bottom of my tag and wrap those sides around. Oh, I still managed to get glue on my, that'll be sticky now. I'll have to replace that. And then I had some yellow baker's twine, just from, that was from when we still had a pack of tans. Yep, and I thought that would be cute just to tie a little bit in the tag top. Oh, and I hear Cammie down there starting to fuss around. Yeah, so when I got home, I knew I had to get my laundry started and start the fire in the fireplace because I told hubby don't light the fire this morning before he went to work because I knew I had to go to the doctor. I said I'll get it when I come home. And so I went down to, he had the fire all laid for me. I just had to light a match. Isn't that sweet? I thought that was really very sweet. I have to remember to tell him. I don't want him to think that I take him for granted. I don't. And what I was saying about the acrylic earlier, we could add little acrylic strips to the back of our little animals to make them kind of movable on the card. I don't think it's necessary, but it could be fun if you chose to do that. Okay, so where are we going to put these guys? Oh, and I have to cut out my oh, maybe we'll do this. Let's see. I don't know that any of them stand out better than the other on this paper over here. I know you're not. You're going to blend in. Oh, let's try not to hit the cords. Let's just try with the Stitch So Sweetlies and see what will fit. Maybe I wasn't so smart doing that on the scrap, huh? know if that's gonna leave enough room to cut that out. Maybe just. And can I reach my trimmer here without knocking all the cords off? See if that yoga helped that at all. Can we, oh, look at, yay, I did it. Still able to touch my toes. You out of the way for uno momento. If this doesn't work, we'll have to just re-stamp on a new one. I'm hoping that scrap was wide enough. Ah, yes. There's that. Then we need, on the bottom, no, has to be skinnier, but maybe it'll fit on the center panel. Yeah, so you can see quite a bit of die cutting, and of course if you're going to color your animals or stamp them with ink, this is a card that's going to take just a few minutes to make. Not too bad really, but especially if you cut it all right the first time. That's always key, right? In there. Stitch so sweetly. Aren't they great? Those dies come in handy for so many cards. Yep. All right. Let's put her together. Come on. We're going to pop that up. I guess up there. And I'm going to put Let's Celebrate You on the center panel. This doesn't really have to go in there. Oh, that'll be nice. If we put the toucan on top of that, fine, that'll work. Okay. Just gotta play around with it a little bit. Maybe I should have made a balloon for him to be holding a balloon. There is a balloon in the stamp set. Well, let's get this put together so that it's not an all-day thing. And I'm pretty sure I left dimensionals out. I was going to say, since last time I reached for them, I managed to shut the camera off. Make sure we can get on camera here. So I'll finish this up and get this uploading, and then I get to go down and work on my laundry some more. Yay! A never-ending household chore, right? It just goes on forever. Did I ask if you're all doing well? I hope you are. I hope you're doing just fine. I'm going to put a dimensional behind his little hat and then add a little bit of glue to his bottom part and his feet there. So they'll stick onto the happy birthday. Out there, I think. Okay. Then we'll put our Let's Celebrate You in the middle here. I don't know. I don't know which way to put this. I have to be careful because it's covering up the Let's Celebrate You. Oh, wait. Maybe if I put him there, him here, and I really should make, I'm going to have to make a balloon. And you're welcome to hang out with me for a few minutes if you like while I do that. Or if you feel that you got this, which I'm sure you do. Let's put a little over here. There. We'll put you back here, and I won't glue you until I make a balloon. What color? We're going to make that out of Costal Cabana. And it will match his hat. White. White. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do a couple balloons. Oh, I can get it off of the little block. Well, let me see. What do we have dies to cut out the? I don't think we do for the string, right? Oh, wrong die set. Those are my Stitch So Sweetly. No. So, oh look, there was banners back here. All right, got it. I do have it. She says if she just completely stops, right? No, I'm good. I got it. I know what I'm doing. And as much as I like the Daffodil Delight, sometimes when I do the ink with Daffodil Delight, it's not quite as intense. That's what I always like the Bumblebee one. But I know it's retired and I shouldn't be using it, but you know, what can I say? I'm a bad, bad girl. Oh, you know what else is that? Birthday candles? It is. Son of a gun. Look at that. There's birthday candles here. And a little flame, right? Is that the flame? Maybe not. carry on. Never mind. See, I don't really want to stamp on. This could work though. Okay, we're good, We're good to go. That away. A little balloon die. You guys got to scoot over again for a minute. So sorry, guys. We'll be right back with you. Oh, geez, this is heavy. Heavier and heavier each time. Oh, Lord, I hear a tractor out there. See, one little bit of sunshine and boom, those guys just think they got to get their tractors and start running around, making noise. And you know what? We'll use some Wicked Stella on the balloons and make them shimmery. And if this is my neighbor out back, he gets out there with the tractor and he just lets it sit there and idle. Lord only knows what he's doing out there. It's almost like Chinese water torture or something though, because this thing just sits there and makes this rumbling sound nonstop. It just sits there. All right, 3 balloons. You out of the way again. Thank you for your help. Dies, where did you go so I can put the little balloon die back? Okay. Now we got this. We're good. So we need, oh, I left that banner out because I thought I was going to use that. That's how things get losty. So if I put him here, and where's my little stamp? Where did I put the stamp with the strings? I just had it. Oh, right there. Good grief. And he's going to hold the balloons back here. I know I have to move up a little bit. I'm not stamping yet. I'm kind of just measuring where our lion's going to be, because the balloons can stand up above the fold a little bit. That's not going to be a problem. Okay, so. Oh, we have a smudgy on the block. Oh, no, I thought that was ink. Can you only imagine if I think I probably already said that, if I wouldn't have had these animals done, this video would be like 3 hours long, right? No, not quite 3. 2.5. Okie dokie. So Mr. Koala's on there. We're going to have to be careful because this is the ink that takes a minute to dry, and I really don't want to smudgy it. So maybe we'll make him stand out a little bit with some foam. And Oh, don't forget the Wink of Stella. We'll have to put that one over here because I don't want it right by his hat. One could be up. Okay. We're good. White pen, Wink of Stella. Set that over to dry for a minute and we will sparkle up our balloons. So we need a little white spot. Oh, and I have the pen that's not, I just bought new ones, but they're not up here. That one's gonna stick. Oh, I guess I better put the orange one on first then, because that's going to be flat on here, sort of towards the back of the little lion's head. And that's what he's doing. That tractor's just going to sit there and idle for ever. And we'll do that one flat as well. And this one in front and up a little. We'll give them a little bit of sparkle. Ooh. You know what? We could sparkle the pom-poms too. What do you think? What about that? I am very happy with that. I'm not sure how to show it to you. Whoop. But you'll be able to see the picture when I upload the video and put my photo on there. So there's your step up card. Yay! Thank you for joining me again, you guys. And excuse me. Oh, and here's my little money tag that I can stick in here. I will see you again next week. Have a beautiful weekend. Stop back and craft with me again and have a lovely day. Bye.